Thank you, Kevin, and thanks everyone for joining. My name is Nick Antonopoulos, based out of the Boston office, and I'll talk a little bit about our piloting capabilities. Next slide, please. So why do we need piloting? Many of these tailing ponds vary in water quality, and the desired water quality to achieve can also vary. So we like to pilot to demonstrate what we could achieve from a separation standpoint, as well as help us optimize the design for the full-scale equipment, and also help us confirm that we have a membrane and a foulant that can be easily cleaned, as well as provide samples of permeated concentrate to our customers that can use that for any other downstream processes that they might need samples for. The piloting really helps us to reduce the risk and certainly linked to any kind of full-scale system design that we have. Next slide. Depending on what we're trying to achieve with the piloting, there's multiple types of pilots that we do. We'll do what we consider a feasibility test, which is just kind of demonstrate that we can achieve the separation that we need for our client. Next step is to do kind of a window testing to help us kind of optimize and give us an idea of where the equipment will operate, where the membranes will be able to operate stably at. And then the third option, which is really where we demonstrate the technology's operability, kind of getting a sense of how often we need to clean, what kind of cleanings we need to do. And all three of these types of tests can be done in the lab. And depending on the complexity, can vary from 1 to 2 days for a quick feasibility test to a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for a validation test, as well as the sample that we need at our facility. Now, ideally for the validation step, we kind of like to do in-field testing. Again, that is the best way to minimize our risks for our operation, right? Because when you send samples to a facility, there over time you could get some degradation in those samples. So ideally, we would like to do them on the field for these larger validation studies, but we can do them in our lab if we need to. Next slide, please. Some of the types of pilots we have. We have larger pilots, full-scale element pilots. One of our pilots is a Class 1 Div 2 equipment, while the other one's a CPVC skidded system. The flow rates for these full-scale elements can range from as low as 1.5 meters cubed per hour to as high as 15 cubic meters per hour. We also have smaller lab scale as well as pilot scale membranes. These are automated systems that can demonstrate our pilot at a smaller scale. And then our last one would be our lab scale elements, either CleanStep or Ceramum. And these systems can, again, are really for the feasibility / smaller lab scale units that we have. And then we also have a small suitcase unit that we do for initial quick screenings as well. Next slide. The slide show here is the equipment of those full-scale element pilots that we have. The one on the right is our Class 1 Div 2 unit, and then the one on the left is the unit that is on a skid that can be sent to customers. The next set of pilots here you're looking at, these are our automated lab scale pilots. One made of stainless steel, the other one of a CPVC. Again, these units have some integrated backwashing, backpulsing, and CIPing capabilities. Next slide. And then our smallest units, which are really our manual lab scale pilots. You can see a few of them here. These units, again, using our lab scale pilots allows us to do some of the feasibility slash window testing that we do for our piloting studies. And that is the conclusion of our presentation. And we will now open the floor to any questions or comments you might have. Thank you.
Good stuff. Mitra, Kevin, Nick, I appreciate that. I did notice, Yatin, that you did reply to a few live questions in the Q&A box. I see nothing open right now. I have to tell you, looking at the answers, I'm glad you were here, Yatin. I'm not sure how to answer about ideal ppm for polymer flocculation, but I'll leave that open for a minute. Perhaps any closing comments you may have, Yatin, you'd like to offer, sort of wrapping up the range of technologies and the in your demonstrated applications. Oh, I'll give you a minute to get off of mute there. I did notice that oil sands was one of the areas of interest that you started off with a very strong, big problem, I should say. But yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I would like to thank everyone for attending. And we've got the email address on your screen now. You could reach out to us, or you can reach out to Terry or Linda, and they would direct it to us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have later on.
Excellent.
And for people who've registered and were unable to attend, I think this has been recorded, so people can listen to it and come up with any questions that they might have. Thanks again.
Yatin, thank you, and thank you to the ALSYS group here. I think it's a great example of us looking at innovative technologies, and whether it's achieving some of the organic challenges that perhaps oil sands and very fine-grained materials, or to me, just the applications of the ceramic filtration technologies that Kevin walked us through are an interesting space for a variety of reasons, whether it's water resource related or even brine type processing work. So a good range of technologies with some good examples. So on behalf of the Tailing Center, I want to thank ALSYS again for being our technical presenters today, and thank you for our participants. As Yatin said, we'll be able to reach out, or at least reaching out to Linda or myself, if you haven't taken the note here, if you'd like to have a copy of the presentation as a public share. I'm pleased that ALSYS has offered to do so. So with that, we're a little short of our full time, but I think we've run full time on our content. So Linda, thank you very much for getting us set up here. And once again, thank you to all who have attended. And be sure to look for, follow us on LinkedIn. The Tailing Center is going to continue to work through these Tech Talks exchanges within the membership group, and occasionally in public forums like this. And if you want more information about the Tailing Center, also follow up with Linda or I through our LinkedIn platform. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.